Today we're going to be going through a squat, a press, and a pull motion. And also, before I start, you probably noticed that I'm barefoot. I'm going to encourage you as much as you can when you're training. If you're training outside in grass, or if you're training in a gym where you're allowed to, or at home, try to train barefoot. The reason I want you to do that is because when you're barefoot, you can really grip the ground, and you have these little things in the bottom of your feet called proprioceptors. And what they do, in short, is they send signals up all the way up the kinetic chain. So up your ankles, calves, quads, hips, back, all the way up to the top, telling it what to do and giving it signals. So if you can't be barefoot, I want you to be in as minimal of a shoe as possible with as little heel stack as possible, so it doesn't lean you forward. So back to the movements today. So we're going to be doing basically a thruster, but I don't want you to do this movement as so much of a flow. I want you to separate them, and I'll tell you why in just a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our neutral grip handles, grabbing them in the center, neutral grip, neutral spine, driving through the heels, keeping the bag close to my body, coming up to a clean. So from here, you'll see my stance a little wider in shoulder width. I can have my feet turned out just a little bit, but I don't want them turned out too much. So from here, I sit down into a squat as deep as I can, keeping the weight on my heels, keeping my spine neutral, keeping my chin tucked in. So from the top of my head to my tailbone, I'm in a neutral position. From here, I drive up through my heels of my feet. At the top, I squeeze my glutes and I press this back all the way up and through so it goes slightly over or behind my head. One of the things I see done incorrectly a lot, especially in later rounds when you do this workout, is that people tend to rush this and they come up and they pop the bag here. You don't want to do that, and the reason you don't want to do that is that's going to create a tightness and a shortness in your shoulders and in your chest, which can lead to injury down the road. So make sure this bag is close to your chin. And when I do this movement, I'm squeezing my shoulder blades the whole time. So it's actually a posterior movement as well. So I squeeze my shoulders, sit down to the squat, drive up, press through, bring down. Once it's here, then I go back into my squat and then drive back up. And the reason I want to do that is just a little bit more control, okay? Now, if you want to, you can do one set where you let it flow, and as the bag comes down, you drop down, and then you do the next set, make it more slow and controlled so you're really focusing on the movement. Second thing we're going to do, once I'm done with that, is a bent row. So feet are neutral, shoulder width apart. And remember, if you watch any of the other videos, I'm not bending forward. I'm taking my hips, I'm sticking them to whatever the wall or whatever is behind me, and that is lowering my torso. I'm keeping my chin tucked, I'm keeping my spine neutral. To start this, I allow my shoulders to roll forward, but my low back and mid back stay flat. From here, I squeeze my shoulder blades into my spine and down towards my back pockets, pulling this bag. Think about pulling it into my hip crease, and it's resting almost on my thighs. From here, reach down and then pull back up. And I'm trying to avoid this pop at the top too. You don't want this. You want to keep it nice and smooth and controlled. The slower you go, the more controlled you are, the more benefit you're going to get. So you've got two options with this workout. That's what you're going to do. Oh, when you're done with that, you're going to take off on a burden carry. 50 yards out, 50 yards back. Carry it in different ways. Left shoulder first set, right shoulder second set, Zercher front rack, however you want to do it. Bear hug, switch it up different ways so you're challenging your trunk and your torso, your stabilization in different ways, okay? So the workout, you've got two options, You can either do 5 rounds of 10 reps each, or you're feeling good, do 10 rounds of 10 each. So at the end of this workout, you will either have done 50 reps of everything or 100 reps, okay? So, but the key is don't rush through it. Go through a full range of motion, focus on form, be safe, push yourself.